All right, Luke. I am going to give the floor to you because if no one has seen this movie yet, it's called Accused, the Karen Reed story. First off, I guess where I want to go is why? Number one, I should say, how did you get connected with this story? And what made you want to see this play out?
Yeah, I mean, like, first and foremost, this is a situation that, you get an opportunity every once in a while to dive into something that's so present, so immediate. And that was an opportunity that it's a challenge that I wanted to step into again. I think there's something about this case which touches on a lot of different issues. The fact that it's so controversial and so polarizing is scary, but that's also exciting. And yeah, it was, the opportunity came up and I jumped at it.
Well, for those who watch that haven't seen yet, this one plays John O'Keefe in this one. And I think it's so prevalent because, you see these stories that are ripped from the headlines, and it's like
Mhm.
20 some years ago, and it's not really prevalent. But ironically enough, this morning, the actual real Karen was on Good Morning America. So it's like it's still very prevalent. But I have to get back to the movie because I have to touch on that scene with obviously John in the snow when John's found dead in the snow.
Yeah.
Was it that cold? I have to
It,
say.
it was cold and that was hard. That was one of the biggest challenges for me in this whole shoot. I mean, there's the physical challenges of basically I had prosthetics over my eyes, so I was unable to see. I was unable to see for hours, so that has its own unique challenges. I'm walked from the house down to the set. I'm laid in the snow, and it's a cold wintry day, and they put the snow on me. I'm caked in what they call fish ice, which is this particular kind of very cold ice, which hurts. And then we roll, and it's a several minute long take, and we do it in one, we do it twice, and that's when the reality of this story really hit home for me. Even though we're playing pretend in a really safe way with an amazing team, I mean, just putting your body through that circumstance, getting lifted up onto a gurney, carried around, put into the ambulance, just like the little bits of the flashing lights that I can see, it was hard. It was emotionally challenging. Um, and so that was, yeah, that was a real night for us. That was a hard shoot.
And that's the part I had to touch on because, obviously the story is very relevant still
Hmm.
now until today, but that's the part. I have to give you major kudos. It had to be so mentally challenging and a mental shock to the system that somebody really did go through this.
Yeah.
A life-changing event didn't happen.
Yeah, that's the thing you try to keep in mind. You come to set and you want to create a good work environment. You want to create a place of work that you want to show up to, that you want to enjoy. But the reality is that you're telling a story that really happened to people. There is a real tragedy here. I mean, the story of the trial and the case and looking for justice, that's a separate issue that, the story of John doesn't really go into. I mean, his life ends that tragically that night. And the reality of that is something you want to hold and you want to honor when you come to work.
And I think too, the icing on the cake was having Katie play Karen.
Yeah.
It was just you two were unbelievable because I think from the beginning, I'm like, okay, they're flashing forward, they're flashing back, they're flashing forward, they're flashing back. And I think major kudos to the director and the producers to this because I think they well put together the story.
Oh,
But
good. Yeah.
you guys nailed it. Was that your first time working with Katie? She's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, Katie's fantastic. It's one of these things where like, we didn't know each other before set. I think we met in crossing like for a fitting or something like that, but that was just, like hi, nice to meet you. And then we land on our first day together and now we're just diving into this story together. And you get really lucky when you meet somebody who wants to work as hard as you do. You know, when you show up and you're working on the scene between takes, and you're working on the story, and you're talking about stuff, and you're building things, and you're building a rapport, so you have that trust between each other as actors, and then you're building that trust each other that, okay, cool, like I'm going to go on this journey with this person has me. When I show up to a moment, when I show up to a scene, this person's present with me and holding, the story and the stakes. That's a rare thing, and it's so appreciated. And she was so fantastic to work with, such a professional. Working like when you're like a lead in one of these movies, you're working so fast, and she's doing such incredible hard work. It really is like watching an athlete perform at the top tier. It's an experience. So it was a joy to be able to share the scenes with her.
I think probably the more poignant scene was the night when at the part of the movie where they show where John goes missing, and she wakes up and trying to find John in the house, and just like the emotional aspect of it. And I think that was the point where, like I said, where I felt for you, because at that point her and her friends find him in the snow,
Yeah.
and then when she turns you around, it was like, oh my God, at that point as the viewer, it hits, here are you guys bringing the story to life, and it's got to be an emotional roller coaster. But in the same token, it's putting us through the same emotional roller coaster. So, at different points of this movie, did you guys have time to just like take I don't even want to say a time out, but just a moment to decompress?
Yeah, that's really important. I especially find when you do dramas, when you do things like this, you want to be able to be fully present with what's being asked as far as telling the story, but that requires taking care of yourself, a little bit of mental health work, just having a rapport, having a place that's a set, or having a little like practice that's just kind of grounding yourself in the present moment so that you have some release from the weight of the story that you're telling. That becomes really important when you're doing dramas like this.
I think one of the biggest questions that I got from the viewers that have seen it,
Mhm.
for yourself, I mean, obviously for her, it's, playing, Karen was one thing, but for you, how did you like mentally prepare yourself before you went to set to make, to execute, these scenes so well like you did?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is, when playing John, like, there's not a lot of video footage of John. I didn't have the opportunity. It's impossible to meet John. So what I really tried to do was I watched a lot of video of his friends and family, and I watched how they talked about him. I
Mm.
watched for words, and I listened for phrases about how he made them feel. So I'm not going to be able to do a John impression. I'm not going to be able to do that. But what I can try to do is honor how he made the people around him feel, and that's what I tried to do. He said he was loyal, quick with a laugh, supporting the people around him, and I wanted to honor that in my own way, and that's what I tried to do when I stepped into this. And so one of the things I did is I listened to his brother. There's a lot of interviews with his family, and I
Mm.
wanted to keep them in my head, in my mind, as I was doing this, because the reality is they suffered a tragedy. They lost a family member, and that's not something I wanted to lose sight of as we were doing this story.
And I think you touched on some because I saw Katie had posted about, she said it, I believe it was on an interview, that she hopes for Karen's family and for Karen,
Mhm.
she did a good thing with portraying. And, you're right. We don't know that much,
Yeah.
video wise of John, but we know what his friends. So I think, I mean, again, it's major kudos to the both of you because you had to bring such an emotional scene, emotional story, and to even say yes to begin with, I mean, is an amazing point. But I think, and I know you probably have a lot of lessons that you learned, but going through this, you learn, like, I know it probably did emotionally stretch you, but as in the end, at the final scene, did you learn more about yourself going through this process?
Yeah, I mean that's the joy of this kind of work. I mean, there is a journey always as you're working. You push yourself to different places to explore different kinds of stories. Working with different people gives different forms of information about yourself and how you work. That's what I love about doing these roles is that I mean, any role really is when you step into a room or into a scene with a person or other people, how they affect you is unique, right? And that's the beauty of it.
Hmm.
You get to have that unique chemistry, that unique dynamic with the scene partner or the cast. I love that about the work. It draws me back again and again. Is, if it's something fun and flirty like a romantic comedy, if it's something really dark and heavy like a true life drama, it's the whole breadth of the human experience can be explored when we explore telling stories. So yeah, absolutely learned a lot, especially, working with LL, the director, for the first time, what our unique dynamic was. Everybody on set, too. You have all these amazing cast people, I mean, these crew people who are, bringing the lighting and the sound recording and running the set and providing food. Like, there's so many unique people providing specific skills to make this story come to life. And the dynamic that all that these people come together with is, that's why I love coming to work.
Well, like I said, you did an unbelievable job with this one. Did you and Katie have time to collaborate in between sets?
Yeah, that was a big thing for us. I mean, because we're moving quite fast, we're shooting a pretty high page count. We really leaned on each other between takes. We would find time to, if you're, the green room, the place where you're kind of in holding before you get to set, we'd be talking, we'd be working through stuff, we'd be just getting to know each other, building trust. And I think trust is such an important word when it comes to any story or any kind of dynamic, but particularly one that has an emotional weight and resonance. If you can't really trust that you can lean into your scene partner and also that you can hold space for them, you're gonna have a hard time. So we really made sure that we did that. That we leaned into each other and built that rapport, so that when we showed up to set and they yelled action, that we were there for each other and with each other.
See, that's the major point because I think a lot of people get it, but when you do something so emotionally charged like this story, and again, major kudos to everybody behind the scenes,
Yeah,
that put it together. But when you do such an emotionally charged and a very real, even till now, you got to have that rapport.
yeah,
Both scene partners, you having Katie and vice versa. Both of you have to trust each other because it's a story that hits home even till now. So
yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's when showing up to work becomes a joy. Even when it's hard, it's these are the things that make acting so magical. Is that spark between when you lean into the scene and you lean with somebody and they're there with you.
Now, I'll back it up. How did you get connected with this script? Was this your first? I don't think I ever seen you on Lifetime before.
You might have. I did a couple of Lifetime movies before. I did Yes Chef Christmas with Tia Mowry, which was a super fun Christmas movie where I played a chef, which actually, be honest with you, I took this shirt from set. So this is actually my Yes Chef Christmas Lifetime shirt. And then I was also in the I Was Lorena Bobbitt, which was the rip from the headline Lorena Bobbitt story. And I played John Bobbitt in that. So
Oh my
I
God,
have done a
yeah.
lifetime before. But it's nice that they're having me back.
Well, you must be doing something good, my friend, because they're having you back more than once. But now you're saying, I'm like, oh, that was him.
Yeah, yeah, that was me.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that was so much fun, man. I love doing that one. I've been really fortunate in my career to be able to bounce back and forth between, hard-hitting dramas and like Christmas holiday movies. And I love the fact that I can have a little bit of that yin and yang, a little bit of that dark and that light. It really is such a treat for me. And playing a chef at Christmas time, I got to like make scallops. It was so much fun.
Oh,
I love doing those movies.
well, I have to, just for a brief time out from this, how did you get connected? Did you know, like, you always wanted to do acting?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is it hasn't felt like much of a choice for me, just kind of like the path that I was always been on. My parents were in the industry. I grew up on sets. And that was the biggest deterrent away from actually. My parents were like, "Hey, you got to explore some options here." But I loved it. I was doing youth theater as a kid. I was always performing on plays in high school. I went to university for theater. And I had a big theater career here up in Canada for years and years. That's really my bread and butter. I was a theater actor for a very long time, and only relatively recently have I been jumping into the film and TV stuff, which has been so exciting and rewarding. The way it changes how you work for me has been thrilling.
Now when I get off this with you later on tonight, and I gotta go watch that. I gotta go watch those two because I did see it, but I didn't. Dang it!
Yeah, that's me.
Now, now you refresh my memory.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to this one, Karen Reed.
Hmm.
You know, when you guys got done filming, like I should say, back it up.
Hmm.
Throughout the movie, did you find any moments like the scenes where I don't want to say a struggle, but you had to muster up enough strength to get through this?
Yeah, I mean, like the scene where she finds John's body. That's the one that was hardest for me. And it's I even get uncomfortable talking about it just because it's so still fresh and so real that we were looking at autopsy photos to match the prosthetics and match the makeup, and
Oh Lord.
that's as real as it gets, and that's really heavy. So that feels like a challenge when you're stepping into a recreation of something like that is real. And that definitely takes a moment of like, okay, today's going to be the day where this happens. It changes the mood on set, changes the mood in the makeup trailer, and you try to just remember that you're trying to do this with respect, and honor the
Yeah.
reality of what this is. And then I also find, and this has been a really important thing for me, is that in scenes that are days that are heavy, you have something that lets you start the day, and importantly, something that lets you end the day. And you leave that stuff at work. You leave that stuff. For me, I use my trailer. Like I put music
Yeah.
on. I dance. I play chess. Like I just do things that like
Leave
clear.
it all.
No, it just clears the mind and also
Yeah.
importantly shifts the energy back. Like put on some raucous music and dance around for a little bit. Let yourself untangle and let go of what was happening at work so that you can go home and not carry that with you. So you can be a little bit lighter. I can show back up to the people in my life without that weight. And then it allows you to be more full when you do show up. Because I feel like if you carry that all the time, it can be really draining and it can be harder to go there.
Wow. When you just said that, I literally got chills from head to toe.
Mm.
That you had to one see that, and then ultimately the prosthetics had to mimic
Mhm.
what the injuries look like. I
Yeah.
mean, I wish there wasn't an award that could be given, but I'll give you an award for doing that because that honest to God musters up so much strength from the humanistic part of this movie.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I find I've always explored in my work as an actor is how do you allow it to feel real and immediate, but not numb yourself to what you're doing. I remember doing a play and I was away from home and there was some darkness in the play and I really wanted to let myself do the actor thing and explore the depths of that feeling. But it's easy to that becomes overwhelming. It
Yeah,
bleeds into your day-to-day life, and then I find when you show up to work again, it's taxing and it's straining, and it's hard to do your job. It's hard to be a professional and a human being in society if you take that on too much. And also, on the other hand, like you don't want to become numb to it.
yeah,
I think part of where the juice of the work lies is the fact that you have to be open to what the cost of it. And that's a part of, as a human being and as an artist, as an actor, that you want to refresh in yourself, and not let the challenges or the hardships of the world kind of build up a shell so that you become unfeeling
yeah.
to what's out there. And that's something that I struggle with. It's hard. It's hard to allow yourself to open up to something like that again and again, because some of the stuff you get asked to do is requires protection of some kind.
Hmm. Well, let me tell you something. There's no Emmy Award or Academy Award for this one, but I'm giving you something just on that merit alone. But to even have the strength to do a movie like this, I mean, to the both of you,
Well, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that.
and between and you're welcome. Between the emotional side that you brought and her, every time she cried, I cried during the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so emotionally charged that I think together you can definitely see how the chemistry that you guys worked on behind the scenes really was brought forth to what you guys brought on the screen.
Oh, good. That's what we hope for. So that's really nice to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, do you have, I don't want to say anything else like emotionally charged like this, but do you have anything else out there that possibly you're working on or close to being working on?
Yeah, it's something coming out. I think it's this summer. I make a little appearance in a show called Elle, which is the Legally Blonde series,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was amazing. So Reese Witherspoon's producing a prequel to Legally Blonde, and I make a little appearance in that. So that's a very different character, very different energy. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. I think in the summertime.
Okay. All right. And just give yourself a breather for the next, till the next, you do the next emotionally charged one.
Oh man, no, my life is the breather. It's a joy. Like I got a 3-year-old. Our house is full of laughter and joy and like cooking. Like, my life feels like a Christmas movie most of the time, which is why I get to go, to these other dark places. So, it's good. I've been doing this a while now, where I have developed tools of
Yeah.
self-preservation, so that I can try to do that stuff. I mean, the biggest thing is again, it's trust and it's safety on set. I, speaking of lifetime projects, when I did the Lorena Bobbitt project, like that required a team of people for intimacy coordinators, stunt coordinators, a director, like everybody created the space together that we could go into the story and tell that story um, as truthfully as we could. And that, I love the support that those team members bring to the table, and I sing their praises every chance I get. Intimacy coordinators and stunt coordinators, like
Mm.
they're the people who make these really dark, challenging, gut-wrenching, emotional scenes come to life, and they make it possible for the talent and the audience to have these experiences. So it's a whole village that makes these things work, and there's a lot of people you don't see on camera who are the reason why this work makes it to the screen.
And that's the part that I love talking to each one of you individually because it's like we see the final movie, we
Mhm.
see the final project. You don't realize how many hands are in this project in order for us to see it in the end.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. I mean, like I love sets. I love movie making. I love TV making, and like I love talking to everybody. All these different specialists who are on set, putting their entire focus on one thing to bring the story to life, all the way through post, with score and sound and like design and color correction. Like everybody's an artist, and everybody gets to bring something, or a craftsperson of a specialty, and it's a magic experience working on a good set. There's nothing like it. It's addictive.
And you have a 3-year-old boy or a girl.
Boy.
Oh, you're only one.
Only one, yeah.
Oh, daddy's little best buddy.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun together. It's a good time.
Oh, well, let me say something, Luke. Congratulations. This movie is incredible. Like I said, I was talking to, I had my family watching. Usually they don't watch these movies. I
Yeah.
always do because this is basically my background, what I went to college for criminal psychology. And they're
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah. So that's why there's so much. I love watching these movies because, obviously, when the kids first entered in, I'm like, it automatically had me in. My family was like, "Oh God, please!" I'm like, "Just watch the movie. Just watch the movie." I said,
Yeah.
I know, Katie." I said, "And I'm going to be talking to Luke." I'm like, okay, fine. And it's funny because my aunt was like, this movie had me from the beginning to the end, and I said, this is the whole thing. You don't, when you have a rip from the headline story like this, major kudos to everyone, the writers, producers, everybody, because you have to execute such a story for it to come to life and for the audience to believe it.
Hmm.
And my aunt was like, she goes, I don't know what was worse. I was crying with Katie playing Karen, or she goes, even like Luke, doing John, doing John, she goes, he really didn't have that much. But she goes, I'm feeling bad for him. And all of my family, they were like, you have to ask him. And I kind of thought I got it when I saw you do another interview about the prosthetics. And I was, wait till
Yeah.
I tell her. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, it was a challenge. Well, I love it that you guys watch together. I think that's fantastic. I mean, like one of the things that I have been I miss a lot is, I was doing theater, you're doing shows 8 nights a week, you're doing it in front of a live audience, and the best thing you get from that is the story lands fresh every night, and you get that dynamic, that interplay between the audience. And one of the things I miss, and I love doing these interviews for, is I love connecting to the people who are receiving the story. Like, nothing's created in a vacuum. You do it as a gift. You want to give it to somebody, and there's something making something special for an audience to participate in a story, to hear a story. So I love talking to you and hearing about you watching this with your family. That's why I love to do this. So thanks for sharing that.
well, you do a dang good job, my friend. But I have to ask you, because I know I get different responses from other actors and actresses that I've spoken to. Did you get a chance to see it after it was done? Did they give you guys like a sneak preview of it?
Okay, I'm gonna be really honest with you. They have
Uh-oh.
given it to me, and I haven't watched it yet. I've watched clips of it, uh,
Luke!
but no, no, no. Okay. So this is the thing. I need some space before I dive back in and sit as an audience member. There's so much stuff as far as just like letting go of that, stepping back into that world, coming at it with a clear perspective, not coming at it with all the little stuff in your head. I do find I need a little bit of space between doing. We shot it so recently too. It's very fresh in my mind. I'm still
Mm.
taking a little breath from it, but when I'm ready, I will go down and watch start to finish how it all comes together. So I'm excited for it, but I do need to give myself a little bit of time.
Breath.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, I can understand that. I can understand it. Because it probably took you a lot to come out of it and then to go back into it. I get it.
Yeah. Also, I don't like watching myself work that much. Uh, I love the doing of it. I love the sharing of it. But that the joy for me is in the moment.
Mm.
It's easy to kind of get distracted, with all the stuff you have in your own head about watching yourself or getting distracted. It takes for me a little bit of space before I can watch objectively and kind of go like, oh, okay, this is work. Because all
Okay.
I'm just watching for, I'm just critiquing, not critiquing, I'm just trying to work. I'm just trying to work on my craft. So every time I watch something, I'm just kind of going, oh, what can I do differently? What's that? Oh, is this a moment here? I remember prepping for that. Oh, would I prep differently for that? It's work. So it takes me a space before I can
I
sit down as an audience member and go on the journey.
understand. Oh,
Yeah.
I totally understand. Luke, I'm telling you, the first vibes that I got off of you watching this was this dude is cool. This dude's cool, number one, to even jump into a role like this.
Yeah.
Like to get to know you and then dive in with you how it was to do this. I mean, major congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you are this is not our last time to chat, guarantee. And I can't wait to see what you do going further.
Well, thank
You
you very much. Hopefully, it's something a little bit lighter next time, and then we're talking something a little bit. But whatever it is, I look forward to it, and I look forward to coming back and having another chat.
Yeah, we will. This is not our last. You be well, you give that little man a hug for me
Oh,
and
I will
enjoy
do.
and enjoy every bit of this. You so well deserve, you and Katie.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. I really appreciate it.
You take care, Luke.
Hey,
We'll
you
be in
too. Thanks for
touch.
having me on.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.